Hi, I am Dr. Isela Garcia, and welcome to the Kindergarten Experience, where we engage children's minds, provide opportunities for meaningful learning, and help them to become critical thinkers. So let's get started. Today, our experiment is the gummy bear experiment. Let me tell you what you're going to need. Water, salt, baking soda, and sugar, 4 jars or plastic cups, whichever. You just have to be able to see through them. Spoon, gummy bears, tools for measurement, ruler, measuring tape, because let me show you what's cool about a measuring tape. That's cool about a measuring tape. But you can use regular tape or even yarn, anything that you can measure with. You're going to use a hand lens, magnifying glass. And as a classroom teacher, one of the things that you need to do is think about those juicy words, those expanded vocabulary words that children need to hear you say to them when you're engaging with them. So let's get started. What we're doing is we are actually trying to figure out what happens to gummy bears when you change the circumstance around their world. Now, what I would encourage you to do is fill the containers and have the children do them, actually. You shouldn't be the one doing this. This is an experiment for children. We want children to be active engagers in their learning. So we want them to do this part. So what you're going to do next is choose gummy bears. And here's the funny thing about kindergarten kids. You have to pick the same color, because the way a kindergarten brain thinks is if that a red one versus a green one does something different and the reaction is a bit different, they're going to say it's because all red gummy bears do this or all green gummy bears do this. So we want to make sure we stay with the same color. So for this particular purpose, we're going to set out 4 different gummy bears that are red. We're going to start with sea salt, and any kind of salt will work, and you put about the same amount in each of the jars. So you're going to place them in there, and what we're going to do is mix it. And this is where I would give this to children, or where you should give this to children, and have them mix it and watch it dissolve, and ask them, what do you think is happening here? And as you're having this conversation, what we want to do is have conversations about what they know about salt. What's their experience about this? Have the actual containers out so that they're able to have a conversation about their experience with sea salt, or salt in general. So the next one we have is sugar. What we're going to do with sugar is exactly the same thing that we did with salt. We're going to take a teaspoon, put it inside, again, have the children do this, and watch it dissolve. A cool thing to ask at this point is saying, is it dissolving differently? Getting down and taking a look at whether it looks any different. Can you tell whether it's different? The idea is really about inquiry, getting children to really think about the experience. And something as simply as dissolving things inside of water is an experience in itself. So the next one here is baking soda. Same sort of thing. Have them take a teaspoon of baking soda, mix it inside the jar, and again, same conversation. Look at the differences. Can we notice any of the differences among the solutions now that we've mixed them all? The next one, we're just going to use water. Simply water. We want to see what happens if it's any different from the water than any of the other ones that we have mixed. So I'm going to set this aside, and then we actually need one more gummy bear. And the gummy bear, the lone standing gummy bear, is the one that's going to be our control. And I would actually say to children, this is our control. This means the gummy bear is going to stand here by himself, and we're going to see what happens to him just standing there by himself. So then we take our gummy bears and we plop them inside. And what we say to children is, what do you think is going to happen to each of these? And then you open it up for conversation. Then you ask them, how do you know that? How would you know whatever their ideas are? Write their ideas down, chart their ideas, write down, even if it's silly. Sometimes children will say, it's going to grow roots and it's going to become a plant. Don't judge that, simply write it. Because then what will happen is the day after, you do need 24 hours for this to sit, we're going to bring out the gummy bears that have been sitting overnight, and ta-da! Look at how amazing this is. When children come in through the door, we say, let's check out what happened to our gummy bears. And this is where the fun really happens. Now, you can use a spoon if you want. I typically don't. I'm one of those teachers that just like to kind of dig in and get it, but I would let the kids do it. So I'm going to take the gummy bear with the little control guy that was sitting and hanging out overnight, and we're going to look at the differences between the two of these. We're going to measure the differences. We're going to ask questions like, how are they different? What happened between the three solutions and then the water, and then this little guy who stayed the same? So let's really make some comparisons here. And this is a great opportunity for language. It's a great opportunity for you to get inside their thinking, to figure out what is it that they are engaging in and understand. When you do this in a small group, it's the opportunity to really figure out where children are. Then this can provide the next step in terms of getting them to think critically. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting some strong language in place so that they learn to be able to articulate their ideas. Use those words while you're engaging with children. Some of them are scientists because they are scientists. Let's start treating them as kids who know and can do. Call them scientists. There's liquid, solution, dissolve, explore, magnifier. These are all incredible opportunities for children to not only see the words, but use them within the context of their experiences. But you have to be the one to model that. You have to be the one who models it, but also engages in their experiences as they are learning. So let's make the commitment to engage children's minds, and let's have fun. The Kindergarten Experience is brought to you by the Virginia G. Piper Charitable Trust in collaboration with the Arizona Department of Education and the Alessi Group.